Okay, first question goes to you, Senator Hagan. As you know, Speaker Tillis has made the fight against ISIS has taken center stage now in this race. And I know you've had some differences with how President Obama has handled this in the past. But do you fully support President Obama's policy and mission right now? And are you confident it will succeed?
You know, George, these individuals are terrorists. They have attacked Americans. Our mission should be to eradicate these terrorists. I have been decisive about taking out ISIS and the Khorasan. I think it's part of a two-part strategy. The first is airstrikes. We need to take out the weapons stockpile, the training grounds, and the command and control centers. The second part is arming and training the moderate Syrian rebels. All of this has to be done within a broad coalition of Middle Eastern partners. Right now, we have Arab states joining in. We have Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, and Jordan. But it has to be a unified front. And I think when I see what Speaker Tillis has done, he is waffling on these issues. He is spineless on what he would do to take ISIS out. I have been clear, I have been decisive, but I think we need to hear what Speaker Tillis would do as far as what he would do.
So is there anything President Obama is not doing that you would do?
You know, I think that obviously troops on the ground is a big issue that has everybody's concerned. I think that when I look at what's taken place in the U.S. over the last 12 to 13 years, that we've been at wars, 2 wars. We have many domestic needs at home. We need to let the Iraqis and the Syrians fight this battle on the ground. I do think that we need to have a reauthorization of the authority for the use of military force. And I have called on the president to bring that before Congress. I would go back to Washington in a moment's notice to have a full debate in Congress on that use.
Speaker Tillis.
You know, Senator Hagan and President Obama, this is a policy that needs to be on the ballot in November. They have failed the American people, and they've made our nation and the world less safe and less secure. They're coming up with a strategy to solve a problem that they largely created. They withdrew despite what Leon Panetta said, despite what Secretary Gates said. They left and created a vacuum in Iraq, and the ISIS terrorists filled it. The president has continued to fail and show almost a strategy of peace through weakness. And these terrorists that need to be wiped off the face of the planet have taken advantage of it. Of course, we should have a no-fly zone over Syria. We should revoke the passports of Americans who are fighting with ISIS in the Middle East. We should take several steps. And the other thing we shouldn't do, George, and this is a big issue, we shouldn't continue to telegraph to the terrorists who want to destroy America and our allies and tell them what we're not going to do.
Well, let me follow up on that, on this issue of boots on the ground. When I was speaking to House Speaker John Boehner last week, he told me that if other nations don't step forward, the United States would have no choice but to put boots on the ground. Do you agree?
I think one of the reasons why many nations are afraid to step forward is because this president has failed to lead the world. Normally, in crises like these, the president is considered to be the leader of the free world. He rallies nations together to put down terrorist threats like ISIS. But now our allies, our friends across the world really don't know where this president stands because he telegraphs his place. He gives strength to the terrorists by telling them what we're not going to do. He should have everything on the table, and he should build some credibility, and Senator Hagan should be right there with them.
George, Speaker Tillis did not answer your question. He is waffling on all of these issues. He actually told the Raleigh newspaper that he didn't know what should be done. As far as your question, I do think it is high time that the moderate Syrian rebels get armed, get trained, as well as the Iraqis. I asked the question to General Dempsey at the hearing before we had the vote to arm and train the moderate Syrian rebels about the process of vetting the soldiers in Iraq. He said we've gotten very good at vetting, and he felt that there were half of a number of the battalions that we could begin that process and get them on the ground. I think we need to look at Turkey and what Turkey is going to, whether they're going to step up.
What's amazing to me is, as somebody who's looking from the outside and not getting briefings that Senator Hagan is getting, is that Senator Hagan for the last year, as ISIS has emerged as a threat, has failed to show up to more than half of the foreign affairs committees to get an update that we would all like to see our senator asking. We're the third largest military presence of any state in the nation. I think that you move heaven and earth. You get rid of the calendar commitments or the conflicts that you may have, and you go there and educate us on what the options are. Senator Hagan, I'd like to know, for example, what priorities there were that were greater that caused you to miss more than half the meetings over the last year, so we'd have a better understanding of what you're doing and how you're acting.
Might get to that in the questions later. You guys have a chance to question each other then. I want to go to my second question right now.